All right, it's February 26th. It's Friday on the Real Kyper at noon show. We are live streaming. Thanks for joining us. Nick Kypreos, Joe and Jordan, Doug on the wings. As I said, it's Friday, which means all bets are off on today's show, man. We're gonna wing it. Who knows where the hell we go on this Friday? We are well entrenched into this abbreviated season through a pandemic. Some teams like Vancouver played 24 games. And we got others trailing because of the COVID. The league thinks that they've got some wiggle rooms to still get in all the games. Let's hope that's the case. But prior to coming on air, and we're going to get into the 10 games last night, and our thumbnail is the rise and fall of Alberta, and holy moly, don't look now, but the Edmonton Oilers, winners of 11 of 13. Where did that come from? And it's just not a McDavid look anymore. They're getting some depth scoring. They're getting guys contributing from 1 to 12 in the lineup, and fantastic goaltending. Mike Smith, 6-0 since returning back. So we'll get into that. The fall in Alberta, Calgary, the heck is going on there? We'll get into that as well. But just prior to this show, sometimes, you know what we should do? We should actually come on 5 minutes before the show is supposed to come on. Now, that was you. See, why? Like, every time I'm in my opening, Mac's, like, interrupting it. Was that Siri, Mac, I heard in the background?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, maybe that was me. Who was that?
It was one of you two. I mean, you're the only
I
ones
didn't
that have
do
mics that are
anything.
hot.
What was
so
it?
I think
Okay, maybe it was me.
It could have been
Listen,
you.
I just learned how to use Siri today in my car. When I phoned you in the car today, Nick,
Yeah.
I said, Siri, get me Nick Kypreos. Boom. First time I've ever done that.
So it took $140,000 Porsche to get you to do that?
No, it took my daughter. I drove her to work this morning up in Wellington, and she showed me how to work it.
Like I said, folks, it's Friday, which means all bets are off. Who knows where this thing derails, and we've already driven it into the ditch, and we're barely 3 minutes in. Now, before we came on air, and I was just about to say, it would be kind of cool if you guys actually sat and listened to us prepare for this show, because who knows where the hell conversations go. But this one in particular was an education one for me, because Joe and Jordan were telling us about this crypto internet stuff where you can actually buy and own what are the new O-Pee-Chee trading cards. Because when I was a kid, it was all about the package and the gum, right? Remember that? Not anymore. Joe and Jordan, what the hell is going on with this crypto stuff, and why is Mark Cuban all of a sudden all over it? Give us a little bit about what is going on out there in this digital world.
Well, I would like to start by saying that both Joe and I just attempted to get packs here in the past 2 minutes, and we both failed miserably.
Completely bricked.
Yeah, we didn't get them. So basically what the deal is, we have, cryptocurrencies is this big thing. Then we have non-fungible tokens. The thing that we're talking about is NBA Top Shot. Basically, this company called Dapper Labs has a deal with the NBA. They create digital trading cards, more or less, over specific NBA moments, slam dunks, three-point shots, and then people buy and sell them. Currently, there is a line of people, 164,000 people long, willing to spend $99 on a pack, and only 10,000 people got them today. So there are 150,000 very depressed
disappointed
souls. Yeah, me included.
One of our own, Peter Overzet at Line Movement, he got a pack though. So this is the
I'm
worst.
Sorry, and how much is he paying for it?
$99. Yeah.
And in it, you could end up with something a lot more valuable than $99, right?
Or you could just sell it probably for what? What do you think, Jordan? Like $1,000 bucks? Yeah, at least
$1,400 to $4,000 probably is what they'll sell for, just sealed on sight unseen.
You could turn around and pay $99 and sell it on an open market right now for $4,000. That's what
literally
you're telling
me? It's the free money line that we joined today. Like you just join this line if you hit the lottery.
If you're lucky enough to get it, yeah.
So the NBA's all over this, right?
I don't know if the NBA likes it, doesn't like it. I know that they have a license deal, so who knows what the situation is. In our own experience with the NBA, and we're talking with some of those people, they seem very rational and reasonable people, every person that we spoke to on like the licensing side. And like, to me, yesterday alone, there was $6.4 million in sales on this site. So I would assume the NBA is pleased with that.
So can I buy one for $99 and get Connor McDavid?
Only NBA, no NHL currently.
Now,
What the hell are we talking about it for if it's not the NHL?
I didn't bring it
well,
up.
we're wondering why the NHL isn't in on this. Why are we not being able to buy this?
Well,
okay.
Earlier for the show, we were talking about like what's cool, like what leagues are cool, right? And I don't know if that's important to fans. I don't know if that's important to the league. The way that I look at things is you always want to skew younger. You always want to get people in at the early age and have them for life, what the NBA is doing, etc. But I don't know. I don't know how it would be received, to be honest.
Well, it all comes down to generating revenue. And, Mac's favorite radio station, don't you?
What is it?
WIFM. What's in it for me? So
I'm just focused on I3 is all I'm focusing on.
What's in it for the NBA? There's a kickback for the NBA to have this stuff out.
I would assume the deal is not based on like total amount of revenue made. I would imagine it's like a yearly thing. But next year, I bet they're saying, hey, you got to pay more for that license, and it'll keep going up. Yeah.
And NHL, my whole point in all of this is, NBA and NFL pales in comparison of how important revenue is to the NHL here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the multiple billions that television has given those respective leagues compared to the NHL. NHL's they got some concerns here moving forward.
And they got hot young players. And
they got hot young players. Okay. All right. Well, listen, interesting. I learned something new. Crypto, what do we say? Crypto what?
Non-fungible tokens, NFTs.
Non-fungible tokens.
Let's talk about the not the Battle of Alberta, but the ballet. Or no, not the Ballet of Alberta. But anyway.
Well, you need people you need the teams to kick the shit out of each other to call it a Battle of Alberta, Mac. We're the kinder, gentler NHL now.
No, I know. I used to love the Battle of Alberta, and it's disappeared off the face of the earth for some reason. But anyway, I don't want fighting. I don't like fighting. You know that.
You think
I like good, clean, hard, physical hockey. That's what I like.
You know what Oiler fans like? Winning.
Oh
Winning
my God. Tell me about it.
Is a lot more fun than losing.
And I have to apologize to the Oilers. I said it a couple of shows ago because I was pretty hard on that group to start the season and what they look like. And I'm looking at them and I go, after the first two lines, I go Innes, Carrara, Chason, Haas, Russell. I mean, really, but their third and fourth lines have played well. Their defense has played well, but Smith has been unbelievable.
Kara, Ennis, Archibald, these guys are giving them some life, Mac.
Russell, Haas, Chason is the fourth line. They're giving them some energy and chipping in the odd goal. And Edmonton, like Bear and Jones have, and right now they're the 5-6 pair.
Well,
you got Russell Larson and you've got Barry and Nurse. I mean, they're playing, but it's goaltending has given them the confidence. Smith has come in and done the job.
6-0, Mac.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
No one saw 6-0. No one saw a 940 save percentage, and no one saw
nobody did
a 173 goals against average. And we all doubted Ken Holland's decision to bring Mike Smith back.
Yeah.
And so far,
he did
so
it because
good.
He had nobody else. I mean, when he didn't get Markstrom, where was he going to turn, But Kenny's always been a goaltending guy. I mean, since he played in Medicine Hat Tigers. But give them credit. Give Tippett credit. They're playing harder. I mean, look, watch what's going on in Vancouver and Calgary and Montreal. Full marks to the Edmonton Oilers. I love the Ian McIntyre in Vancouver said, the Canucks did a good job last night. They held McDavid to only 8 shots.
only
Eight
8
shots.
shots.
So McDavid still leads the way, but look, their top 6 is pretty dynamic. Their bottom 6 is contributing. Their blue line is playing better team defense, and their goaltender is making them look good. Whereas last night in Vancouver, after 2 periods, didn't Vancouver give up 4 breakaways in that game?
Yeah.
So
it was,
loose play by one team, great play by Smith and the Oilers, and all of a sudden they're getting it done.
the
debacle in Calgary continues. Like, I mean, come on.
Okay.
They can't play without Markstrom.
So you still have, you're only 22 games in, Mac, and I assume that you just continue to ride this thing out. However aggressive you may have been maybe to a week or 2 ago, maybe shop around for a goaltender, change the look. All of a sudden, you now are in a position of strength, right? To ride this thing out. I'm not necessarily convinced still that you know for sure that you're going to go into a late season or playoffs with your present goaltending situation. But Mike Smith has bought himself a lot of time here, hasn't he?
Well, he's given everybody some time here. I mean, look, he's given the group some confidence. Is Mike Smith going to be the answer at playoff time?
Well,
you know,
Koskinen, is he
still? I wouldn't feel good about it, but right now you've got to say that Smith's getting the job done, and we know what a battler he is. We know the character that he is, and you know what? Full marks to him. But I'd still be nervous at playoff time. I know that.
So we always envisioned McDavid and Draisaitl 1-2, but where we didn't really kind of see is Tyson Barrie and Darnell Nurse in the top 5 in NHL scoring. 20 plus games in, we didn't see that coming.
Look, Barrie was a interesting signing. He stumbled out of the gate, and all of a sudden, Nurse is playing great, and Barrie has picked up his game, and he's been contributing power play, but he's also better 5-on-5. I mean, it's a great story there right now, and I'm telling you, I wasn't on board. I was not on board. I'll tell you another thing that we weren't counting on. What have we talked about in Edmonton for 3 or 4 or 5 years? Who is going to play with McDavid? Who's going to be McDavid's right winger?
Yeah.
Puljujarvi comes in. What's he got? 6 goals now? He scored
6
a goal.
Goals. Scored
and at the paint. He's scoring them in the paint. He's going to the net. And look, I know it's a great luxury to be with McDavid, but Puljujarvi has been a great surprise and playing right at Tippett started him off in the 3rd line and moved him up with McDavid. And I'll tell you what, it's certainly been a positive.
He has turned himself into a horse, Mac. You notice him when he's out there. He's a big man who can skate, get in on a forecheck, hurry D up. He's come a long way here, and they've waited a long time. I don't know what he's going to end up being, but so far, will he ever be an all-star? Will he ever be one of the better players in the league? I don't know yet, but certainly he has put himself in a position to be a top 6 guy on this particular hockey club right now.
And look, lots of experts were telling Kenny Holland to dump this guy when he was back in Finland playing. I mean, make a trade and get something for this guy. And Kenny stayed strong on it, and all of a sudden it's paying dividends. Hey, look, getting a chance to play with Connor McDavid, you're gonna be able to
get some looks.
Get some looks. But I'll tell you what, he deserves full marks right now. It's been a really important, and finding somebody to play with him other than Cassian, to me, is real important.
Okay. There's another team in Alberta. What is happening here? Because, Rittich comes in because Markstrom's been put on the IR and has a real impressive win against the Toronto Maple Leafs, loses in a heartbreaker late in a second game. And then it seems like he's in a good place mentally. And then I'm watching him leave the ice last night, and he headbutts a door.
It reminded me of the Nick. That reminded me so much of the Abe Pollin getting knocked out going out of our team meeting, the owner of Washington. Remember that?
If we hear Rittich is out with a upper neck injury,
concussion,
we'll know why. Now Mac's referring to a team meeting we had in Washington where our owner came in, the late Abe Pollin. For those of you that don't know, he's not the biggest guy in the world, a little frail. Kind of had looked a little like Don Knotts, maybe, Mac.
A lot like Don Knotts.
Barney Fife.
Terrible.
I'm just saying he's a bit of a frail guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
And he owned the Washington Bullets.
He owned the Washington Bullets,
which are now the Wizards.
That's right.
And he come in to just rip our team. And Brian Murray and I were sitting in the meeting, and he was sour at the way we were playing, and he come in to speak to the team.
So the whole
take it from there.
The whole key in his speech was the exit. You got to hit your points, and then you got to kind of storm out a little bit because you're pissed off. So as he stormed out and grabbed the door, there's something wrong with the spring at the top of the door, and as hard as he pulled it out, the thing snapped right back like a rubber band and conked him in the head.
Oh my God! I thought I was going to do CPR on him right then.
Can you imagine the maintenance crew?
Oh,
I never seen a door get fixed so fast in my life. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my God. It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
What a way to end a meeting with your owner knocked out on the floor.
So, Mac, we got two scenarios this week, and one including, of course, Mark Bergevin firing his head coach, his associate coach, Kirk Muller. And then you got another scenario where you look at the Calgary Flames, and, I don't suggest that firing Ward would do anything, and I don't think you just sign him to a contract. There's no signs that that's happening. And, it's been well documented with you, with Brad Treliving, how many coaches do you get a crack at, right?
Right.
So what's left? Taking a deep breath, because the narrative I've gotten after last night's humiliating loss to the Sens 6-1 is we've played 5 out of 7 nights. Guys could be tired. There's travel. Let's just take a deep breath here. You think that's fair? I'm kind of buying into it a little bit, but I don't know whether or not anybody else is.
Well, look, I'm buying into it a little bit because it is tough. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Toronto. I mean, that's a long flight from Toronto to Ottawa. I mean, it's devastating. It can really wear you out, that 40-minute flight. Look,
you're such an ass.
But look, I'll tell you what. They got to get Markstrom back in that net. Full marks to Rittich. They had to get him in. They had to get him some games. So it worked out okay. I just looked last night and I see Giordano and Anderson -4 against Ottawa. I look at, Lucic is playing pretty well, scoring about a couple of chips off the wall into the high slot. There's something wrong with this team, Nick. And I know Treliving's been on the phone trying to make a deal. I keep hearing that. But you said it at the end of the season last year that something has got to give with this group. Gaudreau, Monahan, where do they go? And it became big news. Eric Francis wrote about it. Everybody was talking about, what do they do with Johnny Gaudreau? What do they do with changing the mix of this group? I'm sorry. Markstrom has been a great addition. I get the Tanev addition, but where is this going in the future?
I know, but
where is this going in the future? And they look a lot of games like they're really disinterested, and I I just don't like the way they're looking. Now, I know they can turn it around, but they pride themselves on being hard to play against, and they are anything but hard to play against right now.
They are a team, Mac. They are a team under normal circumstances that could use a major trade, okay? With the guys that you just mentioned, I would have attacked it in the offseason. I would not have gone into this season
because you can't
Monahan
do it now.
and Johnny Hockey. I wouldn't have.
You can't do it now, Nick, because
I know you can't. That's my whole point.
Of the quarantine situation. That's why anything you're looking at, and it was well talked about. And you know what? Look, Brad wanted to give them another chance, I guess. And maybe it'll work out. Look, we ripped Edmonton. Things change. There's something about this group I don't like. And I'm not, and I got to start with the two guys that are supposed to be your two best players. I mean, Giordano's 37 years of age. You know what? He's still playing his ass off.
Yeah.
But he is 37.
He can't do what he did just a few years ago.
No, he can't. And Anderson's been okay. Valimacki's been okay. Last night, Clinton's in there. I mean,
Toronto's tried for Sam Bennett with Kerfoot. That's not getting it done. So I think the best scenario you could probably is Jake Virtanen for Sam Bennett, just to change it up.
But so just a minute. What I know Kerfoot's a good little player. I know that. But is that what Calgary needs is Kerfoot? I mean,
no, Matt, they don't.
Player.
They turned that down. They turned it down.
I would hope so.
Yeah, no. And we've had this conversation
what's Jake Virtanen going to bring to the Calgary Flames? Come on.
Mac,
I'm sorry. I keep trying to watch him in Vancouver. He's in and out of the lineup for 5 years. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's not like, and I know they can't do anything. They say Tree Living, as I said, has been on the phone nonstop. But how do you make a trade when you've got a quarantine for 14 days?
No, Vancouver, Calgary wouldn't have an issue.
No. I mean, where to make a big trade, they can't do it.
No, you can't. You can't. And, taking away a significant player out of your lineup when you could play 5 or 6 games could cost you a playoff spot. So Calgary can't take those guys out of the lineup and not replace them right away. It'll cost them the season.
Right. So they've got to hope that Markstrom's going to come back and be healthy and be able to stand on his head to get this group some confidence, because right now they are playing with zero confidence.
Zero confidence and
zero energy a lot of nights.
And I don't know what it is. And a lot of people, including us, have kind of made fun of the Canadian North Division on their defense, Mac, but I don't know if it's team defense anymore than it is just goaltending, Mac.
Oh.
And I'm not suggesting that everybody was going to play great at the same time, but can we get 7 teams to have decent goaltending? Why is it always like 2 or 3 have to absolutely stink? And it's either one or the other. The only 2 goalies that have gotten a pass, 3 goalies in this division are Anderson, Hellebuck, and Markstrom. That's it.
Right. That's right.
Everybody else, it's been a disaster between the pipes.
Yeah, I mean, look what is going on in Ottawa. Murray couldn't stop a beach ball. They were shooting balloons through him for the first 2 weeks of the season. Murray starts to play, and all of a sudden, Ottawa won 3 in a row, and all of a sudden they're confident. They look like a different team because Murray started to play. Brandstrom comes in with good Branson. He's a puck mover. He's helped. But they've all of a sudden Batherson looks like a different player. Norris looks like a different. I mean, they've all changed their game. White scores. You know what?
But
they look like a different team. If you don't have the goaltending, you have no chance. And
you need your goalie to be a top 3 star in the game.
Yeah.
You don't win without it. And Edmonton didn't have it early. They went 3-6.
Yeah.
Ottawa was a disaster when Murray's save percentage was what, 860?
Yeah.
And now we see the major goaltending. The major coaching change in Montreal.
Oh.
Carey Price gets the start in Winnipeg. And if you thought the Brady Tkachuk backhand the other night versus Ottawa was bad, how about Nate Thompson's winning goal? I think one of the announcers says it was a perfectly placed shot. I'm like, just
perfectly placed shot.
That was a Nate Thompson just get it on goal shot and hope that it's a rebound or something. At no time would you ever think it would go in like through Carey Price.
Like, I mean, Nate Thompson's first career goal as a Winnipeg Jet, winning goal, and I'm sorry, it was god awful. So you know what? Montreal, I don't care if Houdini's the coach. They've got to get a lot better goaltending, taking bad penalties at bad times. I mean, look,
this is Carey.
This is a team we were saying was going to challenge Toronto to win the Canadian division. I mean, imagine, I'll tell you what, Bergevin did not sleep last night because you watched that first performance with a new coach, and it was a close game halfway through. I get that. But this is your first game as a new coach, a big change, one of the most experienced coaches in NHL, 18 years as a head coach. Veterans obviously tired of him. Obviously, the veterans got tired of Claude.
Well, yeah, the feeling was once that Claude Julien lost a few veterans, and that's when Bergevin knew he had to act soon.
Yeah, well, they certainly played like it, but you know what? I expected Carey Price last night to stand on his head in that game last night. So now they're saying he needs a reset. He needs to get away. I mean,
he's thinking too much.
I know what he needs. I know what they need. They need to put Allen in and let him play, and let this guy work with, the goaltending coach. Wait and see what happens, because they need Carey if they're going to do any damage. I'll tell you that. They need him.
I'm okay with Dominic Ducharme starting him last night. I think that was the right call, Mac.
I agree it was. But I would have a hard time starting him in the next game, I'll tell you that.
I don't disagree. And we're seeing healthy scratches out of very good, high-priced talent. I think this is the next move to take Carey Price, even out of a backup situation, Mac, and just give him the necessary time and on and off the ice to just reset. I think that's the next step for Carey.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got to figure this out, and he's supposed to be the. I mean, you've got Carey Price and Bobrovsky, who both Florida's in first place without him. Essentially, he was a little better last night, but without him, and you got the Montreal Canadiens, two $10 million goaltenders, and both are saying. GMs are saying, I think maybe we better back off paying goalies $10 million when you look at what these two. And look, Carey Price has had a wonderful career. I get that.
Easy about putting him to pasture just yet here.
Oh no. But I think he needs a reset. He's going to be there. He's going to be the guy. He just needs to step back and get his head cleared. That's what he's got to do. And if he didn't like Claude Julien, or now he's got Ducharme. I mean, maybe that'll clear his head. I don't know. There's something been bothering him. That's for damn sure. Was he a Julien fan? Carey Price?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he was.
Yeah. So, you know what? He's got to get his head cleared. And look, I like Ducharme. I told you I worked with him a little bit in the prospect game. I've watched him coach Halifax. You know, I've watched him. I think he's a solid guy. He did a good job in the World Junior. I don't have a problem with Ducharme. I think he's got potential to be a real good coach. I believe that. And
they certainly groomed him for this.
Yeah,
maybe they
sure.
would have, in a perfect world, would have liked to wait a little longer.
Yeah.
If Carey Price has some pressure on him, the second person now with the most pressure is Marc Bergevin.
Big time.
Like, I'm watching teams around the league struggle, Mac, and the question is not necessarily would they make a major change like firing a general manager, but when you get to a cutoff point, and that could be coming up for potentially Bergevin in Montreal or Jim Benning in Vancouver or David Poile in Nashville. It's one thing to give a guy a chance still, but then as an ownership group, you got to ask, if we have to bail, if we have to cut bait here, do they get the opportunity to retool or rebuild? And I get the sense that this group has to deliver for Bergevin because he will not get an opportunity to tweak this lineup.
Oh, right now it's really interesting. We haven't heard about as many coaches on the hot seat as we have general managers. And I mean, you just listed three. Jim Benning in Vancouver on the hot seat. Tree Living's got to be eventually on the hot seat here too. I mean, he's got to be.
Without a doubt.
And you've got, all of a sudden, David Poile, who's been around since the NHL was a 6-team league, I think. I mean, look, when have we heard so many GMs with their jobs on the line? And I'll tell you what, let me just tell you this. Can you imagine if there was fans in the rink in Vancouver, in Calgary, fans in the rink in Montreal?
Yeah.
What it would be like?
That would be ugly.
In Nashville, it would be ugly if there was fans in the building. And they're even Kekalainen in Columbus is starting to get, and Tortorella, they're starting to get some heat. Without fans in the building, I'm telling you, they're lucky because they'd be being booed right out of the rink.
Yeah, the general managers, I would think, that would feel the heat. And again, there's different markets, so some grab more attention, obviously, than others. But, Bob Murray in Anaheim, Doug Wilson in San Jose, those are teams that had high expectations the last few years. And to be bottom feeders like this, I don't know how it sets up for their ownership group, whether or not they'll get a chance to rebuild these teams and get them back in contention, or do they fall into the equation that we got to go in a different direction. But certainly, Mac, in a pandemic, it's got to make you think twice about replacement costs. That has to come into play for owners.
Yeah, I don't see that GMs. I'll be surprised if GMs are replaced before the end of the season. I really do. I mean, now that the coach is fired, does that open up a few more situations for coaches, to take the heat? Maybe. But again, it's money. Money's tight. Money's tight in every market. Nobody wants to fire a coach and have to pay another guy. They don't want to do it unless you're a wealthy franchise and you don't care. But money's money. So. But I'll tell you what, these the way it's set up with these playing these 5 games and 7 nights and playing teams 3 and 4 games in a row, it can get ugly real quick. But I'm telling you, they're so damn lucky there's no fans in the building. There's nothing worse than sitting in a GM's box, okay? And looking down and seeing fans on the glass in $400 seats with bags over their heads. Okay?
Yes.
Bags over their heads. I've experienced it. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I remember saying to security, somebody go down and get those sons of bitches and throw them out of there. You can't. You can't. Oh,
well,
God,
not an issue.
awful.
Not an issue this year.
No.
We got 3 games on tap, Mac. tonight, and then we go into a heavy weekend schedule. You want to just kind of recap a little bit of what we saw last night, including your Boston Bruins, Mac. Islanders own them in the third period so far this season. They gave up 4 goals in the third period, and that got ugly real quick in that hockey game.
You know what, and I didn't. I saw the score and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to watch the end of it. I'm going to stay with these other games and just sort of, forget about my Bruins for tonight. So
are you okay with thinking that the Islanders were better than you thought they were at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, Islanders. I still think it's going to come down to the Islanders or Pittsburgh. I really do for the last playoff spot. I think it's going to come right to the wire. It's going to be tough. Washington. I still think Boston, Washington get in. I think it's going to be, and the Flyers, I think, will get in. So we'll see where it goes. But the Islanders are a little better. Noah Dobson's been a great player for them, by the way. I mean, he gets
their blue line
assist.
is better.
They're better. I mean, I thought losing Taves was a loss, but Noah Dobson steps in as a high first-round pick.
Yeah.
Where's he from? Where's Noah Dobson from?
Western Canada?
Prince Edward Island, Summerside,
gosh.
PEI.
Oh, my goodness. That wasn't even close. Of course
anyway,
he is.
Quite great.
Of course you bring it up.
And you know what? He's been a winner. I mean, the kid won a Memorial Cup. I think a couple of Memorial Cups he won.
Pollock,
World Junior. I mean, he's a good player.
Pellick, right?
Yeah.
Still, that blue line still's finding a way to get it done.
Yeah.
So, brings us to the Pittsburgh Penguins, 5-2 losers. A couple things that I noticed in the game last night. And did you get a chance to see the Wilson hit on Jankowski?
Yes, I did. So
I forever get labeled as a guy that doesn't want any suspensions, and I'm old school. I'm a Neanderthal. Get in.
Yes, you are. You are.
That hit was suspendable. Okay, in my estimation, it was late, and Wilson should have been suspended. They didn't call him to the carpet, but there you go. I'm going against the league. I'm going against their office. For anybody that ever says I never go against them, that was the wrong call. It was a late hit, albeit other than being late, it was a terrific hit. It was late.
Okay, so it was a terrific hit. Listen, and when you're fishing for a puck in the air, okay? When you're fishing for a puck in the air, I'm sorry. Isn't there some responsibility?
Yeah, there is.
Instead of fishing for a puck in the air, for God's sake, I'm sorry. I know it was late.
Yeah.
I guess if it's a late hit, I guess if you get suspended in the center ice with a guy fishing for a puck in the air, I love the hit.
Yeah, I love the hit if it was just tighter, Mac. If it was just a tighter hit, and if it left him less vulnerable, but I don't know. And I get it, and I listen to the comments, and I haven't seen our comments long enough to hear, but I'd love to hear, any of you watching what you thought of the hit, whether it was suspendable, but that's the type of open ice hits that you love to see in a game that's still supposed to be hard hitting in that capacity. I just don't want it with that much distance between a puck being touched and not touched.
So did the league not even look at it? I mean, they looked at it. We know they looked at it.
Going to Air Mac, there was nothing on it. So I assume that they had plenty of time to review it and say move on.
Yeah. Well.
So, but Wilson,
I agree with them, and I mean,
this is what he does, Mac. This is what people love about the Washington Capitals, and any other team in the league would want a Tom Wilson to come in and and have people on the opposition look over their shoulders. And
And
Jankowski,
Pittsburgh were wild about it.
didn't.
The Penguins,
Yeah, they
Malkin
were.
was upset about it. The team, I mean, they were upset about it.
I thought it was
But-
late, and I think they had a valid point.
Yeah.
But regardless, if he missed it, he ends up with a penalty. So what? It's up to you now to have a guy like that back and eye for an eye. I still, that's my.
See, that's Neanderthal.
Yeah, I
That's
know, but
Neanderthal.
I'm sorry. That's the way I play, right? You got a missile on the bench. I'm gonna have a missile on the bench. So what? I'm not gonna let Tom Wilson run around all day and have everybody look over their shoulders, shaking in their skates.
I never once sent a guy out to fight in my career.
Yeah.
Never once.
Well, maybe you should have.
I did bring Jody Shelley up from the minors to fight Olawa. I didn't have to tell Jody that that's why he was up.
Well, you had intelligent, tough guys. That's why.
Well,
they could figure it out on their own. They didn't need the tap.
Paul Laws and Jody Shelley, oh man,
Right?
were they intelligent, tough guys.
Didn't need the tap.
Intelligent, tough guys.
They knew, right? You didn't have to go do this, did you?
I'll tell you how good Jody Shelley is and how smart he is. He actually makes Jeff Rimmer look decent on the air in Columbus.
Well, I'm watching Columbus lose to Pat Kane. And after Pat Kane, there's about, I think, 10 or 11 minutes. And Jeff said there's plenty of time to get back in this one. And unfortunately, there wasn't.
Well, Patrick Kane, we hear all about Matthews. We hear all about McDavid. I'm telling you what, if you're watching Patrick Kane on a nightly basis, I don't know if there's a better player in the NHL today than the way this guy is playing.
Well,
8 rookies on the Chicago Blackhawks, and he is leading the way every night. This guy is unbelievable to watch, Patrick Kane. And that's, with all due respect, this guy, if he's not the most valuable player in the league, he's right there with Matthews and McDavid.
That's the burning question here. That is the burning question, because it's all in the eye of the beholder and what you value and what you don't value. It's always it's always gray when you say who's the best player in the league. But when you say who is the most valuable to his team, how do you not have Kane right now above Matthews and McDavid? And that's based on Draisaitl. That's based on Marner. And then I go to Chicago and I say Kane and
DeBrincat. Serious.
Bit of a drop off.
Hey, 8 rookies on this Chicago Blackhawk team. 8 rookies. No Jonathan Taves. This guy has been unbelievable this year. And make the plays last. He's 399 goals. We're hoping he gets the next one at 400 in the next game. I'm sorry. He has been spectacular to watch. He is a treat to watch. And I got to give him full marks. This is a guy, what's he, 32 years of age?
Yeah.
Patrick Kane, I'm telling you.
Plus,
the guy knows good hockey shows.
Yes, he does.
Patrick Kane knows good hockey shows.
Friend of the show,
yes.
Pat Kane.
Mackey,
he'll join a pretty good group in Chicago's history. I believe it's only Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita, and a very good friend of the 1994 Stanley Cup Championship team, Steve Larmer, as that magic 400 goal mark in Chicago Blackhawk history. So remarkable to watch this guy. And
it is.
What a goal, by the way, last night against Columbus, right? Yeah. Like typical.
Do we have
Kane.
Jeff Rimmer's description of the goal? Could we play that? I guess we don't have it.
We don't.
It would be Kane scores.
Yes. There'd be a sense of disappointment. We don't want to do that.
No, we don't.
But we will do a sound up when Columbus scores their next goal.
Yes. And we want, we certainly don't wish Columbus any bad luck.
I was last night. I bet on Columbus pretty heavy last night, and I was sitting there wishing a lot of ill will towards them most of the night.
Well, you should listen to us before you place your bets.
True.
If you're going to bet on I3, by the way, check it out. I mean, maybe this is anyway. Okay,
Mac, do you have stock in I3? Is that what this is all about? That you got in low and you're seeing a stock kind of go up a little bit? Is that what has you excited?
I have stock in I3, yes, which is the obviously the parent company of Line Movement and the Real Kyper at Noon Show. Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to to get into that. I don't think it's right that I should. I'll let my broker decide where I should invest.
We barely want your analysis of the Edmonton Oilers, let alone what are the hot stocks out there? So
Dougie
exactly.
We'll just stick to the hockey here for now.
Yeah, we'll just stick to the hockey. Yeah.
Okay. We talked about teams that in turmoil. Calgary, well documented, Mac, but then we get to Buffalo, and some eyebrows raised when Jack Eichel doesn't play. And I think the official word was lower body injury, I believe. And you're wondering, is there also message sending somewhere here? It can't be. It has to be legit.
It's got to be legit. Ralph Kruger can't be that dumb. He can't.
You want Carey Price benched, but now it's out of the realm that Ralph would do this to Eichel.
Look, Eichel's got, Eichel's got 2 goals. I know he's got 14 or so points, but he's got 2 goals. How can Eichel have 2 goals as good as he is? What's going on there? And you know what? I can't comment because I don't watch the Buffalo Sabres play. I don't have multiple screens in my den here, so I only get to watch one at a time. And I am not watching the Buffalo Sabres when I've got a choice. Sorry.
Well,
and that's with all due respect to Jack Armstrong, who's a big Buffalo Sabre fan. I haven't watched them, so I can't. I have a hard time commenting on them.
And Skinner doesn't play again, Mac. I mean,
he hasn't played this year.
God, you're mean sometimes.
Vicious.
How long? Like, if you're the general manager of Kevin Adams is there, Ralph Kruger's there, at some point, doesn't Pagula make a phone call and say, why am I paying this guy $9 million a year and you won't play him?
Yeah, that's not a very pleasant call. And what about, why are we paying the other guy $8 million and he's got how many goals? Taylor Hall 1? Like, what is going on with, how can Eichel have 2? Does Taylor Hall have 1 goal?
I think he's got a goal.
And Skinner with none. Your top 3 offensive players, and you've got nothing out of them. Eichel has got the points. I know that. But that doesn't seem to make sense, does it? And I know Terry Pagula's happy with his football team. They had a good finish. They were a lot of excitement.
I'm not sure how. I don't think he has the same.
By now.
He's not having the same warm, fuzzy feeling for the Sabres. I think that is well documented, and some even suggested that he could sell them.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
now I don't. I'm not. That's speculation. That's what we hear from some of our people in the inner circle of our day-to-day lives, that he could easily say, I'm staying all in on this on the Bills and get me out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a good experience. I don't think it's been a good experience for a lot of Sabre fans, thinking that he could have come in and calmed things down, but there seems to be as much turmoil as ever in Buffalo, starting, the last little while with the Eichel rumors.
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you shop Eichel?
Well, I guess there is absolutely no way that the New York Rangers wouldn't love to have Eichel. The New York Rangers have as good a young players as there is in the game.
But they don't have, Mac, what they don't have. And let's go back right now. And I know it's very early in the Laine, Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. But what the Rangers don't have to give Buffalo, and what is a must for the Buffalo Sabres if they're going to move Eichel, is a centerman back.
Or a number one defenseman back. If you're giving up a centerman, you've got to get, just look at how important that position is right now.
I had someone tell me today that you'd be more likely to see Eichel traded to the LA Kings than the New York Rangers.
Wow. And the LA Kings, what have they won? 6 in a row?
Yeah.
Do you think that's putting some pressure on Doug Wilson and Bob Murray and Anaheim and San Jose with the Blake, with the team winning 6 in a row? How the hell they're doing that, I can't figure it out.
And if LA was going to take a crack at Eichel, they'd have to do a deal around Byfield.
Yeah, that's the sort of deal that would make sense. That would make sense. That's a tough deal to do for both GMs. Let me tell you, Kevin Adams. I happen to like Kevin. He played for me. I traded him.
The only question is, Kevin Adams. We like him for a lot of reasons, but what you don't necessarily like about him is his lack of experience. If you're the Pagula family here, would you entrust Kevin Adams to trade Eichel?
That's what you're up against. That's what you're up against when you put yourself in these situations. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust him to do it. And like I say, that's not a shot at Kevin Adams.
No, it's not.
That's a shot at the people that put him in that. What's wrong with Kevin Adams? If you love Kevin Adams as an organization, have him as your assistant GM for a few years. That's that, and then groom him to be the guy. Kevin, that to me makes a little bit of sense. But that's what you're up against right now when you got a big deal. You got Ralph Kruger there, an experienced coach. Grace, when they hired him, he was coaching soccer, for God's sake. Give me a flipping break.
Okay. Now, what's your favorite line about when we talk trades? You remember that?
What is it?
I'm not telling you it's going to happen.
Oh no, this is when my mother used to tell me a story in PI. She said, Doug, I'm not telling you it's the truth. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Okay.
I said, okay, Mom, it's called a rumor.
All right. So it's Friday, and we're just sharing.
Mother used to say that to me. Mother Fran. And
Mac and I, we do spend quite a bit of time on the phone talking and listening and hearing. So it's
especially
Friday.
Especially now that I know how Siri works in my car.
Yes. So ask Siri in your car if she would trade Jeff Skinner to Florida for Bobrovsky.
Well, look, they've got Spencer Knight, Florida, as their goaltender of the future. They've got to get some room for him some way. How I would do it, if I was Buffalo, I would do it so fast your head would spin. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because move Skinner's money, get Bobrovsky in there, you got a chance, okay? Although, because Bobrovsky can't win in the playoffs, so they don't have to worry about him playing playoff games for a few years. Just be a good regular season goalie.
Oh, God.
But there's not a chance. I got to believe Bobrovsky has a no movement clause. He wanted to go to Florida. That's where he wanted to go. He wanted to be in South Florida. I don't know if it was for the hockey, but he wanted to be in South Florida. I would do it so fast.
You know how I feel
Buffalo.
about those no moves is if you want someone out bad enough, you can get them out.
Right? How did that work for Keith Yandel?
He's hanging in there. He's ready to be the Iron Man here in a season or two.
I mean, it worked for our good friend Fleury in Vegas. Oh my God! I listened to the owner the other day. He's going to retire now as a Vegas Golden Knight. He's our face of our franchise. He's retiring here. Oh my! Anyway, he said it makes the cap situation a little tough, but that's okay.
Yeah. We
Anyway.
got to give Florida some love here, regardless if they trade for Skinner or not. They were down again. They're the comeback guys.
Yeah.
3-2 over Dallas. Drieger's done a nice job, Mac.
Drieger's been the story. He's
right?
been a story. Although, yeah. I look. It is a good story. They bring in a new general manager and Bill Zito. He picks up some ex Columbus Blue Jackets. They've helped a little more depth. Joel Quenneville. I mean, he at $6 million a year. You got to believe he can coach. He's won 3 Stanley Cups, and they seem to be buying in. Barkov is so damn good. It's unbelievable. Huberdeau. I mean, look, it's a good story. Fans are allowed in the rink down there. I mean, they're almost to capacity. They're drawn the same as they did last year, but they're only allowing 10% or 10% in the building. 1,800 a game they're getting. So it's good. It's a good story.
All right, quiet night tonight. You like your Bruins to come back? Rangers might have a difficult challenge playing a team that doesn't like being humiliated in the third period.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bruins tonight on I3 or line movement. I'm going with the Bruins tonight to win that game. I think I feel pretty good about that.
Want to put your Porsche on it?
No, but I might put $5 on it.
Coyotes and an Avalanche, Mac. Avalanche got off to a good start, and then COVID hit them. They haven't really had their full lineup all at the same time. Is there any concern at all for Colorado?
Colorado have the big win in Vegas, and they go home and they lose to Vegas. I mean, to me, those two teams are going to go right to the wire. St. Louis, there are 3 teams: Vegas, St. Louis, and Colorado. I love Colorado, what they've done, how they built their team. They're still really young on the back end, but they are good. They are real good on the back end. 3 kids, under 21 years of age on the back end that are all potential stars. I still am not sold on Grubauer. Sorry. They must like him, but that would be the one concern I have.
Mac, you look around the league. How many teams can you say I'm not sold on their goaltending?
Yeah, I know.
So it's just the way it is. I don't think they have any other choice other than, Edmonton's choice right now to keep going with Mike Smith. It's just,
yeah.
You just hope there's a Hudobin run for you, which hasn't gone great so far for Dallas.
No, and Dallas right now, I mean, look, and you look at what Dallas have ahead of them schedule-wise. We talked about it the other day, Wednesday on the show. I don't know if Dallas is going to figure this out. Sagan, a big loss, but this is a Stanley Cup finalist right now that can't win a game, can't score. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to get back in it. I had them pencil in, obviously, to make the playoffs in that division, but right now, I mean, Florida are looking a lot better than them right now. And that's, you lose to that game last night when you got a 2-goal lead in the third. Not good. But
not good indeed.
Rick Bowness must be pulling his hair out. Anyway.
Okay, what's on tap this weekend for you? Pickleball, the beach, black socks, sandals, and I think the marquee game Saturday night, Mac, got to be the Leafs and the Oilers.
I'm looking forward to the Leafs and Oilers Saturday night. I mean, the problem when I sit down to watch games, I've got to figure it out where I'm more rested when I go to watch games because, I do this 3 days a week. I got the beach. I got the tennis. I got the pickleball. The elbows feeling good. I got the golf 3 days a week. I mean, I've got to be more relaxed at night.
The vaccine.
So I can really focus on the games. Send me some.
Little Buddha?
Yeah.
I'm scared if I send you a case of this, I'll never see you again.
Are the flavors going across the coast yet? I know. Steve
No,
Ellis
well,
was looking for it.
we're in Alberta. We are in Saskatchewan and in Ontario. So we are branching out. We got our second flavor, peach tea, coming out. Mac, are you a peach tea guy? Or you want to stick with the grilled pineapple?
I'm staying with the grilled pineapple. I'm staying with the Hawaiian pizza and Little Buddha.
I love it. So you going with the Oilers on the weekend, Mac? Because the Leafs are still battling some injuries. We know that.
Well,
Oilers.
McDavid's injury, it's a nagging injury. It concerns me a little bit. But
Matthews. Sorry, not McDavid. Matthews.
Yeah, Matthews.
The wrist injury.
The wrist injury to Matthews. I'm a little concerned about that. That it's a nagging one. But I think I'm going to take. I think I would take Toronto, but it's hard to go against Smith the way
you got a 15-4-2 record. You got a nice cushion. Why not rest Matthews?
Yeah, and I mean, look, it makes sense. You don't want this being a real problem, and I don't know how serious it is. It doesn't sound like it's serious, but you just don't want your star and one of the best players in the league to have that hanging around for too long.
Jordan,
He doesn't affect his shot, I'll tell you that.
No, well, one of the best, man. Quickest hands I've seen.
Unbelievable.
In 30, 40 years, quickest hands.
I mean, Brett Hull had the unbelievable release in the slot.
Well, he overpowered you like Ovechkin at Stamkos can.
But this guy finds holes.
And he just disguised. You don't see the release point. He never tips his hand.
No, he's special.
He's special.
Yep.
All right, man. Jordan, we good on this Friday? We want to take any calls? Did we hit 40 likes for Mac today?
Oh, yeah. We had about 82 today. Yoda in chat has a question for you, Kipper. What are the chances of Little Buddha going south of the border? How would someone in California start to do that? Or is it outside the realm of possibility?
I've got the rights. I've got the U.S. rights.
Excellent question. Like anything else, you just cannot jump to the NHL from, minor bantam. You've got to take your baby steps. So we are, it's a gradual build, but for us now to go to the US and be able to produce the numbers that are expected, we're not quite there yet. So, but it is a build, and we hope that it's heading down there for sure.
Cool. So it's not like a regulation thing, right? It's just
no, it's not a regulation thing. It's just a matter of producing and distributing, and believe it or not, the challenges out there in COVID, aluminum cans. Guys.
I've heard that.
Aluminum. There's a shortage of aluminum cans ever since everybody discovered these things. All of a sudden, finding aluminum cans is a challenge. So all of that comes into play. But please follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram for all the latest. Even getting a case to Doug is a challenge.
Yeah.
So Mac, you may have to drive up to Buffalo, and I'll chug you.
The RV.
I'll throw you a case over the fence.
Oh, I'd love it. Oh, here's a great tweet, by the way. I remember I mentioned that John Shannon was bragging about being #1 in Chile, the podcast. And this guy sends out, and to think that John Shannon thought that winning an Emmy would be his greatest feat. We got to congratulate Bob McCowan and Shanny. I mean, they were what was McCowan when he was at the radio station? He was was he a filler, or what was he? What did he call us?
590.
What did he call us on the Globe Mail article?
Bit
players.
Bit pieces.
Yeah, bit pieces. They're bit pieces. He and Shanny are bit pieces in Chile right now.
Is Shanny still doing all his hits with the Emmy behind him? Like I've got the Stanley Cup, my Stanley Cup behind me.
Yeah,
he's smart.
Yeah, he does.
He's smart. And what do you have? What do you have in your background?
Well, I got a couple of pictures. I got my daughter horse jumping and my son's high school graduation.
Those are awesome pictures. All right.
And of course, me in the centerpiece, a Hockey News Coach of the Year.
we almost got you 100 likes, Mac. We're at 94.
Okay, well, that's all right.
So that'll send you with some spring in your step down to
That'll
the beach.
make a great weekend for me.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap up for this Friday. A little crazy, we bounced around a little bit, but I think we accomplished what we wanted to, and that is to confuse everybody through Doug's comments. All right, Mac, have a great weekend, pal.
Take care, man.
All right, Doug Maclean out of Florida. Joe and Jordan, we good, pal?
Good to go.
Oh, they
already left.
They left. It's just me. And
well, you know what?
Jordan
No, actually, what happens is when we wind up the show, I put you on the end screen, so it's just this small screen, and you guys have all seen it. But on that one, my mic isn't there, just in case we're doing some close-up things. I don't want my noise or my dog to be barking or something. So that's why it happens that way, going behind the curtain.
I thought you just ignored me because you've watched me ignore Mac so many times, and it does work.
From the best, man. Learn from the
best. It does work. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Stay safe. Still many challenges out there for all of us. We want to make sure we all get through it together. So have a safe weekend. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you here on Monday on the Real Kyper at noon show.